Jonathan, welcome, man. Episode 289, another wrestling podcast.
Here we are.
This is it, man. Lots to cover today. I know we're going to talk a lot about ACW's Mischief Night coming up.
Yes.
A little bit about maybe the Peacemaker finale, maybe some Crown Jewel thrown in there.
Sure.
A lot of things we're going to talk about. So, guys, thanks for checking us out, streaming live right here at Beacon Podcasting in Beacon, New York.
Beautiful Beacon, New York.
That's it, man. BeaconPodcasting.com. If you want to start your own podcast like us, you could have another wrestling podcast.
Yep.
Whatever you guys want to do. But thanks for tuning in. On top of this, we've had guests in the past.
Yep.
We've had people stop by, come into the studio. But right now, we have live via satellite somebody who's going to be at Mischief Night. Dante Casanova is going to be joining us in the studio right now, Jonathan.
This is incredible, an incredible talent. I'm excited to go over his match. Dare I say, a show stealer of a match, if I can say so myself. So looking forward to his take on how this match is going to go down.
No, it's Dante, man. Are you there?
Hey guys, Dante's coming in a second.
All right.
Awesome.
So, guys, if you haven't seen him, he's been here all year in Poughkeepsie.
Yep.
Matches all the way back from the last Poughkeepsie Rumble. But this match is going to be a little bit different, and we'll talk to him about it because not only is it just a triple threat, the winner of this triple threat will be winning the last entry into the next Poughkeepsie Rumble, which is like a golden ticket, if you will, right?
That's incredible. Now, I was told that I was going to also be able to potentially win my way into the Rumble.
You're going to be one of these guys?
But then upon further clarification, it was potentially to buy a ticket to watch the Poughkeepsie Rumble. So there's a little miscommunication. But yeah, this is why I love ACW so much is these matches all have real stakes. And I know that we've talked about that before, but I mean, this is cool. This is like a number one contenders match. This is like Money in the Bank. This is like, all of those things kind of wrapped into one. And you see what happened to the first winner of the Poughkeepsie Rumble. I mean, I would say probably a pretty good run for this year, don't you think?
That's right. Started at one, ended up winning it. Now the current ACW Heavyweight Champion, Richard Holliday. So, there's been luck for people winning that, whether it's one or maybe number 20 or 30, whatever you're going to have here. But I think at the end of the day, it's a golden ticket. And his opponents, too, we have to mention before Dante joins us, we have Sydney Arakeem and we have the Hunter AJZ. Guys who aren't strangers to ACW who have already been in and around this area. But tell us, what do you think about this? Because this is a triple threat. I mean, out of all these guys, are we looking at somebody who's the favorite?
I know we're gonna have Dante on, and I no disrespect to Dante, but both Sydney Akeem and AJZ, the Hunter AJZ, have made believers out of me. The last match that I saw AJZ at Barton Orchards and had a heck of a show, and Sydney Arakeem is doing things to this day that are still confusing to me on how a human actually does those moves. So, and Dante is no slouch whatsoever, but right now I think, and again, no disrespect to anybody else, that AJZ is the person to beat in this match. That's my opinion. So.
No, and coming off of Barton Orchards, that happened on August 9th, the Hunter AJZ beat Yosifer. So, I mean, he's got kind of a credibility that, a claim to the stake of being able to win this.
Sure.
But also, Sydney Arakeem came off of a win against the Hunter at Fallout. So, I mean, you kind of have this weird mix, a match of guys, but at the same time, Dante Casanova, I think, is going to be the one that has to prove themselves at least this night. I mean, one hell of a match he had with Mike Santana at Fallout.
Sure.
Fast forward to now to where one of these guys could walk away as the Covenant last entry into the Rumble, which would you dare say almost cements them, could be as the next champion?
I mean,
that's...
I mean, what a good spot to be in, obviously. And, this could shake up the entire landscape of ACW moving forward. And, I don't want to go too crazy into the weeds here, but I do want to say that obviously Dante is an NWA champion.
Speak
currently.
of the devil, Dante's here.
All right.
Dante Casanova, man, how's it going?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, thanks for joining us today.
So Dante,
Thanks for having me.
yeah, man. So we're just kind of talking a little bit about what your match is going to be like here on October 18th at Mischief Night. We said it's the triple threat. Not only is it a triple threat, but it's to win the coveted last entry into the Poughkeepsie Rumble match. And we're talking about how that's kind of like a golden ticket for any wrestler. I mean, just to come in at number 30. But before anybody gets to that point, you have two of probably the biggest opponents in ACW right now who all want to have something to prove and walk away as the winner from this match. Can you tell us a little bit about this match, what's going into it, and have you met these guys anywhere else outside of ACW? Are you familiar with Sydney Arakim and the Hunter AJZ?
Very familiar with both. I was listening to you guys before I came on, and you said this match has the potential to essentially crown the next champion, could be, possibly. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. Being the number 30 seed in this Rumble, as history has shown, could potentially make or break someone, but history has shown it makes the next top guy. And that's exactly what I am here at ACW to be, is the next top guy. So I am very familiar with these two, and I do not take lightly the fact that this match has so much at stake, because I feel like since the beginning of ACW, I've been here every show. Since the beginning, I have proved time and time again why I belong in the top spot, at least in the conversation, to be in the top spot. As you mentioned before, I had a hell of a match with one Mr. Mike Santana. And that is not, just any schmuck. That is one of the best guys currently doing it on the scene right now. Not only was I able to hold my own, but I also earned his respect and had my arm raised in, light of respect at the end of that match. And that's not something that's just given out to anybody. That's something you have to earn against someone like Mike Santana. So I'm feeling very confident going into this match, and I feel very confident in my ability to obtain this number 30 seed in the Rumble. Sydney Arakim, I've actually ridden in cars with him to shows, crossing state borders and whatnot. I've had meals with him. That's someone I consider an actual friend. I know what he's capable of. Hell, I know where he's been. He's been somewhere that I would want to be. He's been to other promotions that I would want to be in. So I know exactly what he's capable of. Now, the Hunter AJZ, I'm very familiar with him. Let me bring something up.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Now, it's not just the championship that I bring up because I want to be cool or cocky, whatever. I bring this up because a little over a year ago, when I first met AJZ, we crossed paths in a triple threat as well. In the opening qualifying round to advance in the tournament to crown the first ever NWA Midwest champion. Mm-hmm. Now, AJZ was one of my, opponents in that match. And, you can kind of put two and two together. I'm holding this championship. He's not. What does that really say? What more do I have to say other than that?
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned it is a triple threat. So as you are preparing for this, couple weeks out, not a lot of time left, how do you prepare mentally, physically for a triple threat match versus just a normal one-on-one match? What are you doing right now? Are you watching tape of these guys? Are you, like you mentioned, you know them pretty well. So is there something that you're adding to your repertoire that they don't know about yet? Or, obviously don't give that away for them, but because they're probably listening too. But yeah, so how are you preparing for this match versus other matches?
Well, there's a lot that goes into a triple threat. It's anyone's game, really, as opposed to a one-on-one match where you have to best one opponent. This is different. You have to best two opponents, and not just best them, but you have to keep your eyes open at all times. Because let's say, for instance, I'm doing all the work. I'm, whooping some ass here and there. I'm whatever. I have the match won. Somebody could come from behind, sneak a victory over me, and I don't even necessarily have to be the one that has to be pinned to be, to lose the match. It could go any which way. So there's a lot that goes into this. There's a lot of mental preparation that goes into this. But for me personally, I wouldn't necessarily say my game plan has changed a whole lot. I mean, I will say I have been doing a whole lot of cardio because you've seen Sydney Akeem. That brother can go.
Yeah.
Brother can go. So I do know that I do have to have a lot more gas in the tank for this particular match. But in terms of preparation, I'm very confident in who I am in the ring, and I'm very confident of what I bring to the table. That I don't have to completely do a 180 switch on my training regimen to be prepared for this match. I am very confident that I have the abilities as of right now, sitting here with you gentlemen, that I can go into this match and come out the number 30 seed.
Sure. Now, Dante, while we still have you, just kind of a few things for fans to get to know you more, because I first learned about you at the Poughkeepsie Rumble. For just our area, we growing up here in Poughkeepsie, the Mid-Hudson Civic Center was now the MJN Center. It was very historical for pro wrestling growing up here, to where, as a kid, this was our MSG, if you will. For you, wrestling there multiple times now this year, I'm kind of curious your take about maybe the MJN Center, because for us growing up, it was kind of like that diamond in the rough. It made us feel like we're at our own MSG, if you will. For as a wrestler, what is it like performing at a place like the MJN Center? Because it's more than, some shows will do it at a high school or a VFW hall, or, they'll do different places, but this one, it's kind of like its own little mini arena, if you will. And just from the crowd, it just looks bigger than life. It looks like I'm at a regular national TV taping for whatever, right? As a wrestler, though, performing there, what is it like for you? Was this your first experience too, coming up here wrestling at the MJN Center?
Yes, I will say that, and this is not to, blow smoke up the company's butt or whatever the case is, but this is my favorite venue to wrestle in, to perform in. Not just because of the company itself, which I love ACW. I love everything they're doing. I'm very blessed and honored to be a part of the company, but just the atmosphere that this company and this arena brings to us performers. There's nothing like it. I've never been to an arena that's jam-packed with, thousands of people just screaming all night long. And I'm sure you guys have seen it. There's times where you go to these high school venues or these VFW halls, whatever. They'll be rowdy for maybe the first 3-4 matches, but then they just gas out. But in an arena like this, when you have this production, when you have the caliber of talent that we do, and you have the diehard fan base that we have, they are not silent at all. They are just rowdy the entire time. Yeah. So for me as a wrestler, being able to come into this kind of environment with this crowd and this venue, it just brings so much more out of me. It just makes me want to perform to more than what I'm capable of. It wants me to better myself. I feel like there's just a whole nother level that I reach every time I'm at that venue.
Nice, yeah.
Now, Dante, it's Mischief Night, obviously. There is a huge meet and greet beforehand with stars that I wouldn't even have thought that we're still going to be able to get this day and age. But is there anybody that you're going to feel a little starstruck, sharing that venue with on that night?
No. And that's not because I am not a fan of anybody that is at the show. I'm a fan of everybody that's on the show. But for me to feel starstruck would mean, to me personally, it would mean I'm not at their level. And in my mind, I am at their level. So I have no reason to be starstruck to anybody there.
Great answer.
They're a peer to me. So why would I be starstruck?
Absolutely.
Sure. And now, Dante, for fans out there, I want to kind of introduce them to who you are, right? For me, if we weren't doing another wrestling podcast, I would love to do maybe another ancient history podcast or a UFO podcast or whatever. But I love what you're doing with, I don't want to be I'm not saying gimmick or whatnot, but can you tell us how you created or you got into Dante Casanova, how you got from point A to point B where you are now? Because I think what you're doing, I wish nobody else is doing. And I think what you're doing, man, is really great, just with your look, what you're doing, surrounding with El Jaguar, Dante Casanova.
Yes.
Can you tell us how you became that, and maybe what kind of I don't know, struck your mind to how I want to mold yourself into this wrestling persona to be who you are today?
So when I was coming up, when I was growing up, there was a lot of emphasis on where we came from in real life, because I'm first generation Mexican American. My family, my father, my mother, my grandparents, they're all born and raised in Mexico. So there's a whole lot of pride being from Mexico. Granted, I haven't really had the ability to I guess, experience it on that level because I've only ever really visited for, a week or two at a time. So growing up, my father always instilled to me, we're from the motherland. You're from the motherland. You have this blood running through your veins. And while the Aztecs are not really known in today's day and age, the significance of them in today's day and age is astronomical. Like it actually is very, very fascinating how much their influence still lives on in today's day and age. So for me, it's been like very prestigious to me and it's honestly like a badge of honor for me to really bring to light my culture, my history, my ancestry to today's day and age. And it's amazing because like some people will see it and they'll think, oh, you kind of look like Namor off of Black Panther too. But to me, it's like, okay, I can see that. That's cool. But to me, it's like, nah, Namor looks like us. You know what I'm saying? Like the Aztecs were such an important part of history, and to have, somebody on a big movie screen kind of like take a little bit of our inspiration and make it into that. I think to me, it's very honorable for me to be able to even bring a little bit of my history to today's day and age. So when I was coming up with this quote unquote gimmick, it was just like, why am I pretending to be someone I'm not? Why don't I just actually take a part of me and just like amplify it to 11 and shove it down people's faces? Let them know why I'm so prideful of my culture, why I'm so prideful, and why it just brings so much joy for me to don the cape, don the Jaguar face mask, don the feathers on the face. It's just, to me, there's like no better honor than for me to honor my ancestry.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
And so it is going to be Mischief Night. We are deep into, we're in the beginning of October, but if you had to pick a favorite, I don't know how you are with horror movies and stuff, but what's kind of your favorite movie for this time of year? If you're just at home and you're not training or whatever, what do you throw on for the month of October?
My favorite horror movie character of all time was always Michael Myers. Michael Myers was my guy. I remember he traumatized me as a kid. As a kid, when I first saw Halloween, every time that the theme song came on, I would always just like shudder. It just brought chills to me. I don't know why. I was always scared. But then like as I grew up and I grew older, I got a little braver and whatnot. But I just fell in love with his character. I don't know what it is about. He's just so evil and just so maniacal. Like he doesn't show any expression. He doesn't show any exertion of like, he's never like tired or he's never like hurt, or he sells everything. Like the brother is just going into business for himself. He's just he's just here to do what he wants to do. Nothing's going to stop him. He's just Michael Myers. Like there's nobody better than him.
Absolutely. Now, I know that you're super busy and we are trying to be aware of your time, big match going up, but is there anything that you have to say to your opponents that you want to say right now while you're here? Hunter AJZ, Sydney Arakim, any last, little things that you want to get out there before this match?
I respect what you guys are doing, and I understand where you guys are coming from. Last show was your guys' first show. You guys had a great showing. AJZ did not come victorious. Sydney Arakim did. So I understand you guys want to come up the ladder. You guys want to build a name for yourself with our fan base. But you guys are trying to make that name for yourselves at my expense. And that's where I have an issue being a day one ACW member. You see, I have grinded since day one. I have earned respect. I have earned every opportunity that I have been given. So for you two to come in and try to take the number 30 seed at my expense, that doesn't sit well with me. So Sydney Arakim, you're a friend of mine, but unfortunately you are my opponent. Hunter AJZ, bested you before. History tends to repeat itself.
Perfect. Dante, man, we appreciate your time so much, man. Where can the fans find you on socials, keep up with you before they even see you on October 18th? Thanks again for joining us tonight, but where can the fans reach out to you?
Instagram, you can just find me at the Dante Casanova. Twitter/X, you can find me at _Dante Casanova _ and Facebook is just Dante Casanova.
Awesome. Well, we are definitely looking forward to seeing you on October the 18th. This is ACW.com. Be sure to get your tickets now. And, best of luck. We can't wait to see what you got going for us on that night.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys having me.
Thanks, Dante.
Thanks a lot. Steve,
Perfect.
I mean, you're always getting the big names.
I'm saying, man, this is it because it's in our backyard. We want to talk to what's happening. For fans who might have been to one or two of the shows, get to know Dante Casanova again. So once again, thanks to ACW, thanks to Dante Casanova.
Absolutely.
Jonathan, now that he's left the room, who's really winning the match? Who you got for this triple threat, man?
I just gained a lot of respect for Dante. It's not that I didn't have it before. He's doing incredible things. I can't say that it's going to be a tie. That can't happen, right? There's only one spot. I still think right now it's going to be AJZ. I don't know why. I mean, I know that they're all supreme athletes. However, I think he's just a little more ruthless than the rest, and I think that's his edge. Yeah. I think it's going to be the Hunter AJZ.
No, man. But just talk about the other guys to where former WWE star Reggie, but now Sydney Arakim. Guys like that, man. He was a Cirque du Soleil performer, and it's like you're a ninja. You're not just doing karate. He's like a ninja, right?
Yeah.
So it's the ninja part of the Cirque du Soleil. But just being a part of that, the guy's got tremendous skills.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, you got AJZ, man. The guy can, bend you with his mind. The dude's cut out of iron.
Yep.
I feel like all these guys are a threat to each other equally in a way, to where it's one of those things that I loved about ACW this year is that the matches that are being presented to the fans, I don't know who's going to win.
Yeah.
It's such a hard time to just be like, oh, it's obvious. This is an obvious win. Everything keeps me guessing. And as a fan, I think that's what I love about wrestling, to where I don't want to guess. I don't want to know it. I don't want to be like, oh, this is going to be the obvious outcome. That's what's great about it. But
I mean, I also think that we potentially saw a little bit of a weakness with Dante.
Uh-huh.
He said that Sydney is his friend.
Yeah.
That doesn't really...
I think about the whole friend. It could
doesn't really mix well in wrestling.
Sure.
So they're out for that golden ticket, as you said. Friends not really in that ring. So at that night, somebody has to walk away the winner.
Sure.
And I think that he potentially could rely on that. And that's where, again, I don't think AJZ is thinking about friends. He's thinking about what's the next thing that he can do to keep making himself better in ACW. That's my thought.
And gun to your head, if you had to pick one, it's
AJZ.
All right.
AJZ.
I can't do a gun to my head. I'd be like, I don't know. It's all three of them.
I get it.
It's a tough. I think, Dante Casanova, I think after that last match at Fallout, I feel like this dude's on his way up. This guy, he can walk the walk. He can talk the talk. He dresses the part. He is, when I say pro wrestler, I want to show people Dante Casanova because he's a pro wrestler to what any pro wrestling mold fits, right? So I feel like there's nothing but sky's the limit for this dude in 2026 and beyond. So I don't know. I think we could see Dante El Jaguar Casanova becoming the last entrant into the Poughkeepsie Rumble. So,
I mean, you were talking trash, a lot of trash
I did not
about.
cut it.
No. This match again, and you're going to hear it from us a lot, I'm sure. But each one of these matches has the potential to steal the show. I think that this match and these three are going to be in the conversation of maybe breakout star in 2025, maybe breakout star in 2026. I mean, there's nothing holding these three back from being the face of ACW in the future.
No, 100%. But Jonathan, we're going to talk about this whole card.
Yes.
We got a lot of Mischief Night to go through. But before we even get into that, because there's other things happening.
Sure.
We're not going to have a whole special about the Crown Jewel or whatever. But Peacemaker finales this week, Jonathan.
Yeah,
John Cena.
Spoiler alert. I've watched the first season.
Jonathan.
I have not.
JB.
Listen. I have a lot to watch these days. So no, I'm excited. How are you feeling about it? I guess my question is, we know that John Cena is retiring from wrestling, right?
Yeah.
is his acting like do you feel like from what you've seen him in The Marine, maybe 12 rounds, he was in the he was in the one with Amy Poehler and Tina Fey. I don't know the names.
I've seen him, but I haven't seen him. There's like stuff I've seen different spots of him.
Sure.
Cena earned my most respect from the first or the second Suicide Squad.
Okay.
From when he's like even sitting down looking through the papers and he's like something's another code word for whatever.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So he was ridiculous in that, but then what they did with Peacemaker, not that he's more serious, he's going to win an Academy Award kind of thing, but he's like, I don't know, I think he's a great actor. I feel like it's that WWE formula of like go to wrestling, become the top guy, now you're going to become the top movie star.
Sure.
Hogan did it, The Rock did it, Batista did it.
Yep.
Now Cena's at that level where he's in Superman movies and The Rock's not. You know what I'm saying? So like there's spoiler, I guess it's been out for a while. It's no spoiler. But no, I mean, I think he's at that level now of like he finally broke the mold of becoming a famous celebrity outside of WWE. He had all those little parts in movies, and that was great. But I feel like ever since Suicide Squad and even into Peacemaker, I feel like he's becoming an even bigger celeb now. So,
and you feel, I mean, like his performance this season. Now, again, no spoilers, but you feel good about it. You're enjoying the second season.
Yeah, I mean, first season was awesome. If you guys haven't seen it, but this one is even. You know, I'm a big fan of DC. Even when it was Batman v Superman, I still love DC. I love what DC was doing, but I like him. I like them all at the end of the day. But no, at the end of the day, with Cena, man, I feel like. The season's been great. It's a lot different than Superman because if you're taking your kids to see Superman, don't take them to see Peacemaker. It's like mature level NC-17 compared to like PG.
Okay.
So James Gunn, man, hats off to you because being able to make a PG movie with the same characters that's now in an NC-17 like TV show.
Yeah.
That's where the time we're living in, Jonathan. 2025. You can have the best of both worlds.
If you had to create like you said, DC, so there's a lot of canon there. There's a lot of villains and all that stuff. Is there any other wrestler that you could see potentially taking up the mantle of a either Batman, Superman, a villain of sorts? Is there anybody out there that you really could see doing that?
Well, I got to see what happens next year with Street Fighter the movie. Have you heard about this cast?
I have.
Now, I loved the remake of Mortal Kombat that came out a few years ago.
Sure.
Even just the trailer for the new Mortal Kombat was supposed to come out this month, but it's pushed back to next year. But now there's a Street Fighter. Roman Reigns is in it. Cody Rhodes is in it.
Yep.
And I'm like looking at the cast. They all look ridiculous. And I'm trying to figure out, is it going to look like the Mortal Kombat movie? Or like, because the last Street Fighter movie we saw was Jean-Claude Van Damme, Raul Julia, and it was kind of campy 90s.
Oh, it's very campy.
It was cool. I liked it. But now, like, I'm kind of curious of what they're really going for because I feel like the next one, if you're going to pick, I feel like Roman Reigns. If Roman Reigns is awesome in this, people are going to become a fan of him in the movies, and then he's going to land more movie stuff.
Yeah.
So. But I don't know if that's
and
even
sure, that's fine. I mean, but there's also another tie-in there with the DC villain, and I forget what his name is in Suicide Squad, but the guy who plays like Polka Dot
Man
he's in Bison.
Yes. And Barry was like, movie. "What? Yeah, I could see it because if they make him, I could see him doing something silly. He doesn't have to be like this Jack guy or whatever. He just needs to be a weird whatever.
Yeah,
and I could see it.
Villain.
I need to see a trailer already because like I saw some of the stuff and I'm like, I just want to see what they're doing. I'm like, is it going to be campy or is it going to be whatever? But I don't know. There's a lot of fun stuff going on. You know, we're kind of blowing over this Crown Jewel too before we get to Mischief Night. We talked about it last week, and when we said Crown Jewel, I totally forgot that it was in Australia.
Yeah.
To me, I feel like I'm accustomed to that Crown Jewel is going to be in Saudi Arabia.
Good night, mate.
And like when they say Crown Jewel, I don't think about the Prince of Australia. Like I think about the Prince, Saudi Arabia, whatever.
Yeah.
So to me, I get it, but like this Crown Jewel strike, does it say Australia to you? Or
I mean, I think possibly if they had done something. But since they'd all been in Saudi Arabia before, now it just feels like, oh, well, we're moving it around to like other places, which is fine.
Yeah, it's fine, yeah.
The funny thing that I see is that last night I was watching Raw and they showed a picture of Cody wearing that belt that is like this big. It's like under his chin to his like belly button. And it looked like a corset. And the visual to me was very funny because it's like, the WWE has their own belts, but whenever it was over there, it had to be even bigger. The greatest Royal Rumble ever and all that stuff. So the visual for me, I don't know what they're going to do, because I think at one point Cody came out with a ring. Is that what you get now? I don't know. So we're going to see who's the supreme WWE champion. We've got Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. Rollins has not beaten Cody since Cody's return, so this is like
it's
make or
it's
break.
not a belt for belt. It's more like who's the best world champion out of all of them, right? Like I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is gonna be a Seth win in a way. To where I don't know. That's
I think it has to be at this point, to be honest. And then you've got Tiffany versus Stephanie.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like Tiffany is a proven. She's been really good for the past couple of years, especially from like no wrestling experience prior to coming in.
Yep.
And then you have Stephanie, who is kind of got that rocket strapped to her back right now. She's taken the world by storm,
because she was a nobody, and now she's like one of the somebodies in like that amount of time. It wasn't like, oh, she's been here for like 6 years. No, it was like 6 months, not even. You know what I mean? So she's definitely risen. The cream has risen to the top, right, Macho Man?
Yeah.
No, it's, but the biggest thing out of this, too, because we just talked about Cena, is Cena's opponent for this, too. AJ Styles, reading on the dirt sheets, saying how this is Cena's, he picked this one.
Sure.
And, when AJ debuted into WWE, they were at that level of each other. AJ was the biggest guy in TNA. Yeah. Cena was the biggest guy in WWE. Sure. So they were equals, right? This is the Taker versus Sting. This is AJ Styles versus Cena. This is like your equal from the other universe, DC and Marvel, fighting each other. So I think what a way on the farewell tour of John Cena, which we only have limited a few months left. This is another perfect like main event kind of thing for him to kind of showcase their feud that they had a few years ago when AJ kind of debuted. So I mean, this is a big one. Perth is getting really good. This is a WrestleMania main event right here.
And I think that what's important to look at right now is that landscape. You just talked about Roman Reigns potentially going to do movies. You've got Cody Rhodes, who's stepping away to also do that movie. You've got Cena retiring. You've got Brock Lesnar coming in and out or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's time to continue to start looking at these newer stars. And who is the next Roman Reigns? I mean, he started off Raw last night and was kind of, the crowd, it was a hot crowd in Texas. But, like, who is also going to be that next person to step up? And I think that's why this is also important of seeing these matches, seeing the Rollins versus Cody, seeing Bronson Reed, seeing Braun Breaker. Like, these are your future main eventers.
Yeah.
And I think that they tried to do some stuff with Jay. I don't know what happened there. It kind of stopped. They are always like hot and cold with LA Knight. I don't know what's going on with him. Punk's in the mix. So I think that that's why it's very important for me this end of the year, going to the Rumble, almost getting ready for that road to WrestleMania, and seeing what, after the Cena storyline's over, the Bloodline angle's kind of over, so what is going to be the big thing going into that WrestleMania season? So sure. I'm excited. I know that this kind of feels thrown together because it feels like all these pay-per-views have been, or PLEs have been thrown together, not a lot of build.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen with this, but I'm happy, I guess, in a way that it's at 8 a.m.
I know, I was going to say, you're going to wake up for...
I'm 41 years of age now, so...
You're already up since 5 now.
I would rather it be at 8 a.m. than at like 10 p.m.
Sure,
so, yeah.
No, it'll definitely be interesting. I mean, not too much to go out. I think the biggest thing, like I said, at the end of the day is the whole Cena match and what's going to happen with that. Still, this is going to be leading into more games or, Survivor Series or whatnot, so we'll see what happens with that. But I think the reason why we're here, Jonathan, is to kind of get into Mischief Night. This is our little Mischief Night special. We've already talked about the triple threat on the show with Dante Casanova, the Hunter AJZ, and Sydney Air Akeem. But let's get into the rest of the card because this is more than just this is the last show of the year for ACW. It's also the biggest show of the year for ACW. The main event we'll talk about in a little bit. But if you look at every show that they've done this year, it kind of leads to this main event. This is great. This is great storytelling for an independent promotion around here. So a lot of things are happening. Not only is it like a Halloween theme. They're encouraging costumes. They're going to have a costume contest for kids and adults. So whether you want to dress up as the Macho Man, but I think Macho Verse got that covered. Don't dress as Macho
trademark.
Man. He could, but I don't know. You can dress up as your favorite wrestler. Or you could dress up as a favorite horror movie or whatever. It's Halloween. Dress up whatever you want to wear. It's Halloween.
I have on order the Credo costume, so I'm just waiting for a few things.
I'm going to have to start growing my beard out. It's going to take a few weeks for the JB costume. But no, man, I think that we're going to see what you're wearing on Halloween.
Or not wearing.
Or not. Depending on what kind of Halloween you want, I guess. But no, a lot of matches are happening. A lot of things are going on. Let's kind of start from the bottom, work our way to the top of to the main event, if you will, and get into this. So after that triple threat match, the one thing I think to bring up is the ACW National Championship. Debuted this year. The real one, formerly known as Enzo Amore, is the ACW National Champion, the first one ever, going up against Big Trouble Ben Bishop. He's 6'12", brother, and he's also both a guest of the show. Jonathan, this national championship match happening on Mischief Night. Who's walking out? Are we going to see Real One walk out with this national championship?
Spoiler: new champion.
New champion going for Big Trouble.
Big Trouble.
You think Real One's in big trouble?
I think he's in big trouble. I think it's, we've seen Enzo get in and out of a lot of scrapes, right? Real One. We've seen that happen. He has been a fighting champion. He's been great at representing ACW. It is Big Trouble's time. I can't say it any more plain than that. And I think that what you're going to see is a focused Big Trouble Ben Bishop and a focused BTBB is going to win over a Real One. And I just think that it's important to note that no matter what happens, both stars in my eyes, and both going to continue to do great things. We had kind of talked about this before. There was a Ben Bishop tryout with the WWE.
That's right, yeah.
So there's eyes on this guy for a reason. And I think that anybody who has not seen him before is in for a treat. This match, again, being in the MJN Center and hearing Enzo Real One's music come on, it's why we do this, right? It's you go to these shows for that fun and that energy, and he brings it every time. But I just, when you're 6'12", there's not much you can't do, and I think on this night he's going to become your new national champion.
Sure, these guys are no strangers to each other. So if we go back to Aftershock, we had a Real One versus Landon Hale versus Big Trouble Ben Bishop versus Dante Casanova. So they already had a four-way match lined up to become the national champion. So out of this match, Real One defeated him, but now it's a one-on-one match. So that's where it's kind of like 4-4. The other guys can team together to beat up the big guy or whatnot. So you kind of, maybe Real One didn't really get a good a matchup with him. But now that they're one-on-one, that's a whole different story. On the show, Ben Bishop also talked about how he got into wrestling, and he talked to somebody after a show one night on what he should do, and that someone ended up being Real One. So now fast forward to how many months or years later since they had this conversation. Look where they both are. One's a champion in ACW. The other is up and coming across the world. And it's kind of like they've come full circle from the question of, hey, should I get into wrestling, and giving advice, and to now, look, we're facing each other for a championship in Poughkeepsie. So, what better story than that?
That's amore is what I think I think that's what they call that. But yeah, again, there's a lot of parameters in these matches. We have a veteran and Real One. We have someone who's young and hungry and Big Ben Bishop. So anything can happen, but again, gun to my head, Big Trouble Ben Bishop.
All right. At the end of the day, I think Real One, we could still see him. This man has not only won this championship in a 4-way. He's also beaten, in between all that, Zach Clayton and Leo Sparrow, and continues his reign as national champion.
Yep.
So, I mean, the champ's the champ, man. He's the realest champ in the room. So I think at the end of the day, we might see Real One walk out as national champion continuing into 2026. So what a match. One of the big matches on here, which is loaded with veterans, if you will, the six-man tag team war. We have on one side, we got Zach Clayton from the Jersey Shore Family Vacation. We got Little Guido, FBI, also teaming with Zach Clayton, and dastardly Danny Doring, who's joining this. So we got some ECW vets on this team and a newcomer versus the hardcore legend himself, Tommy Dreamer, the innovator of violence. Also, Crowbar, no stranger to the show, and also from WCW. ACW, WWE, he's been in every promotion, MLW, everything.
Yes.
One of the only few that could say that they've wrestled in every promotion, AEW, yada, 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 right? So with Vampiro, who has never set foot in Poughkeepsie before for an appearance like this, so you get to see a legend, another legend on top of all these other legends, if you will, as a first time. So a six-man tag team war. What are we thinking about this? Because we have one half of the FBI with Danny Doring against Tommy Dreamer, Vampiro, and Crowbar. This is going to be one hell of a match. I
mean, on any day, if you would have told me that I would be able to see Vampiro in Poughkeepsie, New York, I would have said, when are we going? Let's do this. So I'm super pumped to see Vampiro. First and maybe only appearance in any shows we've ever gone to, in ACW, I don't know. So that's definitely worth the price of admission itself right there. But you have, I've talked about it a lot, a hungry Zach Clayton is a dangerous Zach Clayton. So this person, I feel like Zach Clayton, again, I'm giving him his flowers. He's somebody who, he's on Jersey Shore or whatever, but has the skill set, has the ability to make things happen. And I would normally say too, because anybody who is going against the ring awareness of a Tommy Dreamer and a Crowbar and a Vampiro, like there's no way that they would be able to be beaten. But you've got Zach Clayton, you have Lil Guido, who's no slouch in the ring.
Former Cruiserweight champion.
Absolutely. And our guy, my guy, Danny Doring, like he is still waiting for this ACW moment. I'm going to say unfairly, unjustly, kind of been denied a little bit. Mm-hmm. He's finally got a match, an official capacity match, and I think a fair 3-on-3. Let's see if it stays that way.
Sure, yeah.
But I think that he not only does he have enough gas in the tank to get it done, but he still has something to prove.
Yep.
I think he's been looked at maybe a little bit like a joke the past couple times, and I know for a fact that Danny is no joke, and he's going to be there for all of you Poughkeepsie Porcupines. And I think, like I said, I think that team Clayton or whoever's the captain is going to take the win.
Well, that's what I see with the captains here is I feel like Zach Clayton and Tommy Dreamer have been a thorn in each other's side over the past few shows.
Yep.
Zach walked into Tommy Dreamer's MJN Hall of Fame ceremony, kind of ruined it. Yep. They had a match out of it. Even at the last Fallout show at the MJN Center, it was Zach Clayton's chance to become a national champion, and Tommy Dreamer was the enforcer ringside. Once again, they're poking at each other. They're trying to, outplay each other. So I feel like if you're talking about captains, we got Zach Clayton leading this team, and we have Tommy Dreamer leading the other team, if you will, just from looking at it. But that's one thing great. Another great thing about ACW is that you got to watch it from the beginning, man. You got to be at day one. I think Dante Casanova said that. We got to get shirts of that day one ACW, right? Fan and whatnot. So that's, I think, just for a local show. Like if you go onto their shows, this show makes sense. Like it's something to, as fans, we love storytelling. We love like continuing things like that. So it's one of those like diamond in the roughs, if you will, especially as a diehard wrestling fans going to these kind of shows. So it's something you don't want to miss, guys.
So who do you have?
It's tough. I feel like Tommy Dreamer, Vampiro, and Crowbar, you have the ultimate experience, right? I feel like they come up with, then you have Danny Doring and Little Guido, vets on Clayton's team, because if you're looking at everybody on this show, or on this match, Clayton's kind of the rookie compared to all these guys, right?
Yep.
but I wouldn't count him out. He's a powerhouse. He's right up there with all these guys, I think, in power and in style, man. At the end of the day, I could see Zach Clayton getting this win too, man. So I don't know. I think I'm going to have to go with Clayton's team. Just because maybe for the younger guy on the team, maybe he can outmaneuver some of these vets. So I don't know, but it's one of those things that anything could happen. I would love to see, like you said, a Danny Doring kind of a win one day.
Yeah.
But all in all, guys, the 6-man tag team war is going to be something to look out for.
And we do have, it's Mischief Night, so throughout the night it's going to be, I'm assuming spooky.
Yeah.
I've seen some wrestling fans before. They can get real creepy, real spooky, but talking about spooky and Halloween and monsters, we have the monster.
That's right.
The new monster. And we've seen, he's been on the show. I am really impressed with Parker. And I feel like that he's another one of those guys. When I watch ACW, I see this talent and this roster, and I see any of these people being plucked out and going to another national, and I hope for our sake that doesn't happen that quickly. We always want everyone to succeed, but I mean, right now we kind of have our own little gold mine with ACW. We have all this great talent. So
you don't have to pay $5,000 for a ringside seat, Jonathan.
Yes.
Oh my God! Anyway,
or $30 a month for whatever. But
don't get sidetracked. Anyway, yeah.
But anywho, I feel like this open challenge that we've got here with Parker is another thing that's just adding to the suspense of Mischief Night.
Sure.
We saw what he could do last.
He's a beast, man. I was scared to even be in the same room with the dude. He's like, he can kick your butt. At the end of the day, he's a beast, man. But people have called him the next big thing, the next Brock Lesnar. Paul Heyman even had him in that aspect. But the guy's still young.
Yeah,
he's only in his 20s. We're old ducks here now. There's 20 years younger than us. And the dude, I think, another guy who has the sky's the limit for what can happen. And I feel like this guy was probably unjustly shown in NXT and even AEW. I feel like they didn't know what to do with him.
Sure.
ACW, man, knows talent, and they see this guy and they just know what to give the fans these kind of matches. This is a Parker Boudreaux match, a gauntlet match. Like, this guy is a beast. He reminds me of like a Umaga meets Brock Lesnar meets he's a mix of these guys. I can't think of the other one off the top of my head, but something like that. I love the new moniker. The moniker, the new monster, is a perfect name for him, right? Just for what he is. And for this, it could be one guy, two guys, three guys. Who knows how many guys he's going to have to defeat in this in order to win it? But he could also walk. Something could happen. I don't know. This is what's great about pro wrestling. Yeah. Somebody could walk out through the door, and that they could win the Parker Boudreaux Gauntlet Challenge match. It's an anything. That's what's great about being a wrestling fan. It's anything. I can't even think of what could happen.
Well, and I think that we saw that there's probably still several security guards that are probably in the hospital from a couple months ago. He laid out a lot of people in that match, and if you haven't seen it, get back and watch some of these ACW moments before the lead up to Mischief Night. But if you are listening to us right now and you are saying, I've heard a lot about ACW, but I don't know how to get tickets or anything, this is ACW.com. October 18th, live in Poughkeepsie at the MJN Center. There's a meet and greet. I know there's a lot of really cool stuff that's happening.
Yeah, we got trivia going to go on. We mentioned the costume contest. There's going to be brand new beer from Newburgh Brewery.
Okay.
They're bringing a new ACW beer. Come on. Fall, new ACW kind of beer to have. It's everything and anything you would want in a Halloween show.
Sure.
Right? So it's one of those things that, and I think one of the biggest things I wanted to bring up when you started mentioning where to get tickets, something was, people were mentioning today, Ticketmaster, man. I get it. People sell tickets everywhere. You go to look up something for tickets and you find like 5 different sites selling tickets.
Yep.
Man, these fees are outrageous. But what's nice about this is that it's a local show.
Yep.
You can call the box office at the MJN place. You can go to them in person during the day and get tickets. The box office is open from like 12 to 5 kind of thing. If you want to beat those fees, man, just call the box office. You can call them and get tickets the same way you would get it from like a Ticketmaster or
like we used to back in the Stone Age.
I'm saying, man, I remember I used to go into like Filene's to go to the Ticketmaster counter and like they would print you out tickets. And anyway.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. We're all looking to save a few bucks. But call the MJN box office. I saw people post about that today, so I think I wanted to bring that up because they're like, money's money,
Sure.
and people want fees for certain places you get it. So if you guys want to save money out there, call the MJN Center. You can order tickets like that.
And I'm looking, you got the hat here. You got some merch.
I got ACW merch.
And I'm looking to see. I don't have my
in the
merch
mail,
yet.
Jonathan.
Okay,
It's in the
yeah. Anyway, I am always a big fan of merch. Anywhere I go, whether it be a concert or a convention or whatever.
Sure.
I'm a big merch guy. So I know last time they had ACW replica belts that were very limited.
Independent places doing this. It's nuts.
It's crazy.
Belts, man.
They're
and
talking belts, beer,
and
they
shirts
had
that are like limited edition. They only have like a
Yes.
few. Get them printed
Yes.
locally, sell them locally, and whatnot. And it's one of those things.
Posters.
It's like being a part of the club. You want to
Yeah.
you want to get one of these. You got to be, you got to get there, kind of thing. So. As a fan, man, where was ACW when I was a kid?
Yeah.
Because this is what I would wanted as a kid. I mean, right? Like as a little kid, like I wish I can go back many years in the time machine and be like, I wish I could go to the show as a kid.
Yeah.
Because behind the scenes, I make a lot of cool videos, but at the same time, like I'm trying to think of if I was sitting in that crowd, what I would want to see as a kid. It's hard sometimes, but at the same time, you got to put yourself in the wrestling fan seeing what you want to see. So, it's something that it's like. You want to go to a WWE show. You want to go to WrestleMania. Everybody wants to go. Who doesn't want to go to WrestleMania? No matter what fan you are or what promotion you're from or whatnot, the goal as any fan is to go to one WrestleMania in your lifetime.
Yeah.
Bro, I got kids now. I don't have money for WrestleMania. That's you see the prices on these tickets.
Listen.
Anyway, that's a whole other episode. But
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? To me, it's like I want to be able to bring my kids to things like this, and it's like I don't want a second mortgage on to get tickets for a show. Come on.
Yeah.
And with companies like ACW, I can spend 0.001% of what a normal ticket price would be, and you're still getting this kind of an experience. And to be there with the video wall, with all these videos, with just all this, some contests to giveaways to belts, and man, they got figures debuting too. We don't know who it's going to be. My Collectibles, they got a Crowbar figure for the first time. There's a Danny Ma figure with a Poughkeepsie Sucks shirt.
Yep.
There's two other figures we don't know that are going to debut at the show too. So another reason to go to a show. Who's going to?
Well, I don't want to spoil.
I saw you comment on the post today.
It's us.
Our first podcast. That's it, guys. Who wants Credo with the?
Be sure to reach out and tell everyone you want this face and that face. In action figure form. I think that
we can't have our wives write
we
in
would
for
sell
us. Or
tens of them.
And
Tens of them.
After we buy nines of
Yes,
them, we're going to sell
absolutely.
tens of them. But no, guys, it's fun to talk about this because you're bringing up belts, figures.
Yes.
Being able to go to a show like this and just sit down and like it's not they're just walking through a curtain with music and they're going like there's videos like I'm bringing our kids to an experience that it's like the circus, like you get to see everything from the the elephants come out, the guy in the middle with the I don't know circuses that much.
So I just I can see that.
The ring guy.
Who are you comparing to an elephant in ACW? Because I just want to make sure it's on camera
It ain't
for
Parker
everyone.
Boudreaux, man,
here.
because that elephant will kill me with it. Anyway, but no, you know what I mean? Like, it's an experience, I think, for family-friendly for the whole family.
Well, and to get back to your point about what ACW has to offer, right?
Yeah.
A couple months ago, a year or so ago, or whatever, it was very in fashion to talk about this forbidden door, right?
Sure,
and who was coming across this and doing that and whatever. Well, how about a TNA match in an ACW? We've already seen NWA belts on the line. We've seen TNA championships being, they've been very open with many companies, which is another reason why ACW is so great, because you just never know who's going to walk in that door. Well, we have two TNA talents that are going to be duking it out at an ACW show. And that's really important and I think really cool to see because if you're following along at home, TNA and NXT, TNA and WWE have a pretty good partnership.
Sure, yeah.
So again, I hate to say it, but you never know what's going to happen in ACW, and this match should cement that even more.
Sure, and with Mike Santana going against Brian Myers, a first-time ever match. I didn't know it was a first-time ever match until Brian Myers, they posted a promo from Brian Myers saying that it was the first time they've ever fought. Wrestling fans, wouldn't you want to be somewhere where it's the first time these two guys are ever fighting?
Yep.
And not only that, I think, Mike Santana, man, could be walking in there as the TNA champion that night because the week before is Bound for Glory right over in Massachusetts. And, that's what's cool about talent coming over from TNA or talent coming over from wherever. Being able to utilize other talent, meaning that they can come from one show and go to another on like an ACW stage. We have the possibility to see another TNA champion, first time ever, right after winning it in a local show, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So anything could happen, obviously, right? We don't know what's going to happen, but the writing's on the wall, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, but also, if you look at the PWI 500, in which we were, I forget what number it was, but
Wrestling
probably number one. It's no big deal. But my point is that with a Mike Santana, with a Brian Myers, every one of these people are in contention to be in the conversation of best going right now. Mike Santana arguably doing his greatest work right now on his best run that he's had during his career.
Completely reinvented himself.
Incredible. And Brian Myers as well. Like, we are a little spoiled because we saw him as the Major Brothers and all that stuff, but it could be also said that he's in his prime right now as well. And Cardona's going to be there, so I'm not saying there's going to be any shenanigans, but you've got a potential Myers and Cardona, who knows what's going to happen with that. But I just want to say that, this sort of match is one of the reasons why I really enjoy wrestling, and especially independent wrestling, because sometimes, and I know we've covered it before, Steve, you can watch a match and you can kind of say, I think that person's going to win, or I think that person's going to win. ACW has provided an opportunity for all of us fans to kind of really be able to suspend that disbelief. On any given day, all it takes is 3 seconds to win, and that could be on this night. It could be Santana. It could also be Brian Myers. And normally I would just go out and say, I think it's going to be so and so that's going to win this match. This one, I'm still a little up in the air about who's going to win because they both have a good amount of experience. Yep. It's the first time, which means a lot to me. If I'm breaking this down and analyzing this, they don't really. They've watched tape probably on each other. Mm-hmm. They've watched some matches. They're familiar with each other. Maybe even been in the same town, same whatever. But I just don't know how their styles are going to, combine, and how, I don't think there's going to be a styles clash, but I'm just wondering who is going to have the upper hand in this match. It's not clear to me. It's not like one of them's 6'12" and one of them's,
So let's play this little game of, what if Santana walks in October 18th as the new TNA champion? Does that kind of, lead to a little bit intimidating for Brian Myers? Because now he's like, not just the Mike Santana match. Now he's going against the TNA champion. Yeah. It's kind of got to, now he's got to step it up even more, right? Yeah. So it's kind of is either going to help elevate Brian that night to now know that he's going against the TNA champion. Because if he gets a win over the TNA champion, maybe that could also parlay over to TNA to where now Brian Myers could fight Santana for the TNA championship.
Put it in my hand, but implications, that's the word. So this match has implications, not only for TNA, not only for
Queens or the Bronx, because it's a little borough battle too. They're from New York,
but
guys.
It has implications for ACW. Yep. All these people they're coming in, maybe a TNA champion or whatever, but do you think for 1 second that none of these people are eyeing that ACW championship?
Nope.
They all want to add that hardware to their trophy case. Especially, a Brian Myers, who's a big collector of figures and all that stuff. You think he doesn't want one of those for his collection? So I think it's a point of pride. I think everyone there who's coming to these to these matches at Mischief Night is thinking about their match for that day, but then also looking forward to the next event, which just so happens to be the Poughkeepsie Rumble. And I think that is important to think about in any of these matches is, yeah, we saw that match on this night, but what does that mean for my favorite wrestler here in the future? And I think that it can be argued that either one of those guys, again, could be very integral in ACW in 2026.
No, 100%, man. Moving right down the line, we're going to get into the ACW Women's Championship, which is being defended by Indi Hartwell, taking on WWE ID prospect Zayda Steel. If you guys aren't familiar with Zayda Steel, you can see her on Evolve right now. I believe it's on Tubi for WWE. But Indi Hartwell, former WWE star, former NXT star, now current TNA star. This is almost like another TNA versus WWE kind of a match, if you will. I'll just throw it out there because they're both signed to each those companies too. But you have Indi Hartwell, who is the reigning and the first ever ACW Women's Champion, taking on Zayda Steel. So, I mean, there's kind of a newcomer versus vet, if you will. I'm not saying, Indi's been around to where she's won major championships in a lot of other companies. So, I don't know. What do you think? What do you see on this one? Because Zayda has she's got to make a name for herself. She's an ID prospect, so coming in, winning the ACW Women's Championship would definitely add to her resume.
Absolutely would. I think that Indi, we don't know all the backstage stuff, right? Indi was in, as you mentioned, WWE. Indi's no longer in WWE, but immediately afterwards, she's now in TNA. A very, good talent, and I think that probably lit a fire under her to say, hey, why did I get let go? Or, I don't know all the backstage stuff, but I think that this run for Indi has been similar to what's happened with like Cardona. It shows you life outside of the big, one of the big, couple promotions. And I think with Indi, she takes every one of these matches that she has in ACW, especially after winning that championship, very seriously.
Sure.
And I don't see her not walking out still the champion.
No, 100%. And, just looking at this to where Indi, she's a young girl. She's younger than that. By saying she's a vet, I'm not implying that she's an older person. But, being a vet in this business, she's accomplished championships in NXT, even outside of WWE. She's not fighting for her name still, but she's still showing how credible she is everywhere, how she's one of the best.
Yeah.
Zayda Steel coming into this territory, being a WWE ID prospect, that's bringing a lot of street cred now with a lot of these younger wrestlers that they're ID'd for the future. So you have Indi that's at the top of the mountain with Zayda kind of stepping at the base of her mountain to try to climb in and get that championship. I think it's got to elevate Indi at the end of the day to where she's got to stay on top of this. She's got to stay at top of the game, especially to go after these newcomers, if you will, that are here to claim that top of the peak with them. So I feel like you have these two women that are, talented in their own right. And it's one of those matches, once again, Jonathan, to where I can't call, it could be any. I could see Zayda walking out as the new ACW Women's Champion, and I could see Indi retaining it too, because she's been also on a roll ever since becoming the first ever Women's champion. So yeah, man, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, I think what's my daughters love is that they get to see women wrestlers. They get to see talent to where they're not just, 5-minute match in whatever. It's a new day and age, Jonathan. It's 2025, man. Everybody, a lot of things are going on, but being able to see women wrestlers, champion wrestlers, to where in Poughkeepsie, growing up here, I can't remember a time I've ever seen a women's champion, unless it was at some other indie far few between over here. So just alone that ACW already has a prestigious women's championship in our area. My kids are happy.
I mean, and again, it's at a high level.
Exactly.
It's not just we need to do this because of whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's really important, and I think that it shows. And the attention and the time that are given to these superstars is incredible. So it's going to be a great match. Now, I have to shift gears for a second.
All right.
I saw something that happened recently, And, here within the confines of this studio, I think it was a little too far.
Bro, it's your wedding day. It's not a bar mitzvah. It's not a birthday party.
It's sacred.
But like a wedding day, man. And
come on,
wrestling and wedding, they kind of go one-on-one sometimes. But man, to be witness to this, Jonathan, I'll tell you, it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because yes, I was there, Jonathan. I was filming the wedding, and lo and behold, Santa Slaughter show up in the middle of speeches for the best man and everybody else. The wedding speeches. I'll tell you what, man, I've never been like nervous, never been afraid to be around stuff, but I was like right in the middle of when this all broke out, and I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about my cameras that are going to get damaged at the same time that I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, this is someone's life moment of, this is a core memory. It goes into that core memory of Inside Out, right? It was a big deal, man. And to do it at a wedding day, out of all places, it's like The Godfather. Like, you come to me on my daughter's wedding day to ask me for it.
Yeah.
Bro, that was the craziest video, and it's making this feud of Santa Slaughter and the Now becoming one of the most talked about feuds in tag team wrestling this year alone.
Yeah.
Of what these two have put through each other through the past year.
Listen, I am a small town bird lawyer, like I've said before.
You got some fans of that. They like
I am. I'm married, obviously, and. That day was stressful enough,
Sure.
And to add to that, people crashing. What happens in the ring happens in the ring.
That's
But
right.
when you start getting into that personal of a realm, I'll be completely honest. Before this happened, and before you text me, and you were, I think, under a table. I don't know what was going on at that wedding, but
Sure.
you were trying to save yourself at that point. But before I found out that had happened, I would have said Santa Slaughter are gonna retain these tag belts. There is not one person, I think, that is going to be able to stop a Vic Delicious and a Hale Collins after the disrespect.
Bro, I'm waiting to see his wife step into the after that, man. Like, she's I'd be watching out for her too. Like anything, like yes, well, man, it's very tense.
Get you somebody who looks at you like get you someone who will stand up for you the way that she did on that day. I mean, that is incredible. I don't know what's going to happen in this match. By far the most personal match in ACW history.
Sure, man. These guys are no strangers to each other. Even before ACW, these guys have clashed throughout the Northeast. But just over the past few months here alone, from a tables match to a cage match where these guys were locked up they locked them up in handcuffs, and kind of people are saying, won the championships in a not so favorable way, or not prestigious way, or a fair way, if you will.
Listen, I can even look past that, right?
Yeah. But once you just go to the wedding, man, you ruin someone's wedding.
That's a step too far. And again, I say that with all respect, because I don't want anybody to come after me. But I do think that on October 18th, in the tag team championship ladder match, I think that Vic Delicious is going to be a Mack truck, and Santa Slaughter is in his way. And if they don't get out of his way, it's going to be really bad. I mean,
no, and if fans out there, you could watch even on Triller TV, you can watch the last show, that Uprising. It was Vic Delicious versus Danny Moff at Barton Orchards.
Yep.
A brutal match. Brought it outside, brought it through the crowd, brought it back in. Danny was bleeding, but Vic Delicious was able to get a win over that, and that was one-on-one with Josh Chernoff. No Hale Collins in Vic's side, and no Sean Donovan in Danny's side. So, I mean, that was a brutal war. This whole year of the Now and Santa Slaughter have just been going back and forth, that I feel like this is, hopefully it could be the final staple, I guess, maybe, or one of the closing things on what could happen to these teams. Because
there may be staples.
I'm saying, to where this is going to be a war. So, I mean, at the end of the day, man, Santa Slaughter coming in the champions, I feel like the Now could be heavily favored from what's happened from this wedding alone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, I feel like they, go back a few months where the Now had Joel Gertner in the corner, kind of thought it was going to be a help, kind of actually made him lose. They don't have a manager right now.
Well, again, spoiler. Yeah. I'm still putting it out there.
Sure.
They have been kind of screwed over by managers lately. Yeah. I am offering my services at a very reduced rate. I will be there on October 18th. Yeah. So now, if you're listening, I'm ready to be there in your corner. If nothing else, I'll be there in your corner in spirit. But I've got a few tricks up my sleeve.
Sure.
Yeah. I've seen some Richard Holliday matches. I know.
You know how to get things done. You know, but I think it comes down to a numbers game. Like I'm saying, to where if Santa Slaughter still have Josh Chernoff in their corner with this, that's another guy compared to the Now. So I mean, it is a little bit of a disadvantage. So hopefully, we'll see what happens. But they're hanging the championships from the ceiling. It's a ladder match. These guys are going to have to climb the ladders. Danny Moff has been saying for the past few months that I don't think he's a fan of ladders. I don't think I don't think these guys are a fan of this kind of a match. I mean, put them in anything else.
They have more of a ground game.
They're more of a grounded team. They're not the high flyers, but that's okay. But I mean, just seeing the brutality that went into the tables match between them. Yeah. Seeing the brutality that was in this cage match. Now bringing it to this ladder match, which is a Now specialty. They are notorious for ladder matches and winning ladder matches. That, having this it's almost like our Dudley Boys versus Edge and Christian WrestleMania, or, it's one of those kind of a matches. So I feel like it's going to be probably one of the matches of the night. I think we'll see what happens. But, man, I don't think I could see anything else besides the Now winning this, because I feel like of just what they've been through. Yeah. You can't count out Santa Slaughter with this third option of a manager. Managers are known to be notorious interrupters in some of these things. So, I mean, by hook or by crook, we could probably still see Santa Slaughter walk out as tag team champs. And I know Poughkeepsie probably will not be the happiest if that happens.
I envision a sign similar to whenever Cena took on Rob Van Dam at One Night Stand that says, if Cena wins, we riot. I feel like that's what's going to happen if the Now don't walk out the tag team champions. I think there might be a riot.
No, as being one of the last match or last show for ACW this year, I think it all boils down to this, man. It's one of those things, like if you're a day oneer from ACW from the beginning of January till now, where we're at now, it's been awesome. And just this whole build up is awesome.
I want to challenge the fans out there, anybody listening, anybody who's watched ACW or maybe new to ACW or whatever, to maybe send us like some of your favorite moments from the year. There's been a lot of history, a lot of lore in ACW, the MJN Center being like such an integral part of Poughkeepsie wrestling history, and that's kind of the ACW home. Barton Orchards, they've done so many things in such a short amount of time, and it's all kind of coming to a head at this last match, the main event, if you will. But I think that there's so much that ACW has done to bring back wrestling into the Hudson Valley, and I think that the way that we can show that is just continuing to support them, showing up for these matches and stuff, and tell us your favorite moments. Let us know what you like about ACW.
No, for sure. Now, Jonathan, that brings us to the main event. Before we get there, other names have been mentioned that are going to be there. I think we're going to be seeing the Righteous. Vincent and Dutch are there. Dutch, I believe, is in parts unknown around this area somewhere. So he's kind of like a local to this area. So the Righteous, I know, have a lot of fans up here. Vicious Vicky Venuto will be there live. We don't know what capacity just yet, but she'll be there. Also, just announced too last week, the Audacity. Have you seen these guys? They kind of remind me of like Casey Jones meets even more brutal. But I love that. I dig their gear, man. It's like an old school like LOD Demolition. These guys have definitely got something for the future of wrestling, and maybe wrestling at ACW. But just a few other names we're going to see at ACW before we get to this main event. But this is it, man. This is the culmination of ACW since January. Let's go through this a little bit.
Yep.
The first pay-per-view was the Rumble. It was basically to crown the first ever ACW champion.
Yep.
Richard Holliday wins.
Sure.
That main event that night was Nic Nemeth versus Matt Riddle for the TNA Championship, first ever time.
Yep.
First ever time these guys have actually fought each other. Fast forward to the next show. At Aftershock, we have Matt Cardona versus Richard Holliday.
Yep.
In a main event. Fast forward to Fallout, we have Richard Holliday versus Matt Riddle
Sure.
for the main event.
Sure.
And now, right back to where we kind of like dipped in some of the main events throughout the year, we have the Fatal 4-Way match, Jonathan. Richard Holliday walking in as ACW Heavyweight Champion.
And out.
And out. You go, okay. Versus Matt Cardona versus
Yes.
Nic Nemeth versus Matt Riddle. So all these guys have main evented all year.
Yep.
In some kind of a capacity, whether it was against each other or whatnot, right? You put the stars on whoever they fought. So seeing this in a Fatal 4-Way for the ACW Heavyweight Championship, Jonathan, you're saying Richard Holliday is going to walk in there
Has he
champion
lost
and
yet?
walk out champion. And this is like the greatest odds right now of any champion walking into this, because you're not just walking into any kind of a match. You're walking into a match with like three of the biggest names on the independents right now. Jonathan, this is going down as the biggest independent match of the year.
Yep.
Fans are talking about it all over online. Richard Holliday has mentioned it. Jonathan, right in our backyard, we're having one of the greatest independent matches of 2025.
As we should.
And, what a year alone for ACW, let alone this show. So if you're going to buy the ticket for one match, I think one moment or one kind of a thing, I feel like this is what people are paying to see. And,
Yeah.
and this is the main event, I feel like, that has been probably the best main event out of everybody this year.
When I said earlier that a lot implications, when I talked about implications, this match has them. Everybody is kind of on their own path right now. You've got Matt Cardona, the indie god, going and wrestling everywhere, right? You've got Matt Riddle, who apparently just got into a little scrape on TMZ with somebody. He's all over the world right now.
Former MLW champion, too.
Former MLW champion. You've got Nic Nemeth, who the man needs no introduction. And you have Richard
Former TNA
Holliday.
champion from the first show.
Absolutely. So you've got Richard Holliday, who is totally in that league. And, if I'm talking about someone who is going to scrape and claw to keep that title, it's that person. It's it's Richard Holliday. The other gentlemen, they're no slouches. They're people that have absolutely earned everything that they've received in the world of wrestling. But Richard Holliday is ACW, and as we've seen this year, no one's been able to take that belt off of him. We're coming up on 365 days. And we've seen what can happen when someone gets on a hot streak.
Sure.
Roman Reigns was champion for years and years and years. I see Richard Holliday being the Roman Reigns of ACW and being the one that continues this streak throughout 2026, 2027. You keep setting him up, and he's going to keep knocking him down. And that's
Sure,
what
fair enough. Yeah. Because when I look at this match as a whole, I feel like Richard Holliday, to me, in this matchup alone, is kind of at the bottom of the totem pole with these guys, and that's no offense, even though it probably seems like it's. But at the end of the day,
I'm offended.
Don't be offended. So you have like Matt Cardona, the belt collector, right, coming off his run from WWE in TNA now, in NXT right now, has a match next week in NXT, if you will. So he's working the circuit, if you will, right? So he's all over the place on mainstream level and on the independent level. I feel like Matt Cardona walking out as the ACW champion that night, I feel like is right along with who he is. He's coming in to collect that championship. On the other hand, you have Nic Nemeth, former TNA champion. This guy is probably not the best. I don't want to say the best. The dude's very talented. I mean, we were there
Sure.
you were there when he cashed in for the World Heavyweight Championship many moons ago.
Yep.
But fast forward now, I feel like out of all these guys, he's probably the locker room leader, if you will. This guy's he's the vet out of all of them. I feel like he's walked the walk and talked the talk miles before any other any of these guys have done before.
Sure.
So, it's like another veteran I could see walking out ACW champion. And then last but not least, Matt Riddle out of all these guys too, to where, he was an MLW champion, which we just said. He main evented against Nic Nemeth at the first show to where, didn't come out on top with that one. It was almost ACW champion at Fallout until the reverse decision because the referee was knocked out. So he kind of was the ACW champion for a millisecond.
Not even close.
And not and so on and so forth. So now that all these guys are going to be in the ring at the same time, man, like I feel like there's a valid reason I could see each of these guys, whether it's retaining or becoming the new ACW champion. And I'll go right back to the beginning with this because that's exactly what I love being a fan. Because I don't want to watch or know that this match is happening and it's like Mr. T versus this dude from it's like, oh, it's obvious Mr. T is going to, you know what I mean? It's like one of those matches when you see it, I want to go and see who wins because I have no idea. I can't even book it in my head. Like, oh, the Marks booking their own shows. They get to, like, if this is going to happen, I can't book it in my head. I just want to see it. I have to see it kind of a thing. So it has that must-see feel. And that's, I feel like, what I love about how this has culminated to, the last show of the year, the main event of the last show of the year.
Sure.
What can happen? Who knows, right?
Well, I mean, again, spoiler alert, Richard Holliday walking in, walking out.
Spoiler alert.
Beyond that, this has been a great year for professional wrestling across the board. It's been a wonderful year for ACW. I am looking forward to Mischief Night on October 18th. This is ACW.com. But I am also looking forward to, we're not far out from January.
Yep.
And looking forward to seeing what happens. One of my favorite things about these shows is that we've been there. And I know you're doing your thing while you're there, but I've got to walk around and see some people and hear from some people who've listened to us and all of that. But it's an exciting moment to be in the MJN Center and just everybody's excited about the match. And, Dante mentioned it earlier. There's thousands of people in there and they're just going nuts for the show.
Sure.
And from bell to bell, they're just loving ACW. And so I hope that they have, 100 more shows or how many ever shows they want. But it's really exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody at ACW. Bring your costume.
Wear a costume, Jonathan. Don't forget it.
And we've had, as we mentioned, a friend of the show, the Macho Verse was there. I'm wondering if he's coming to this one, and what possibly macho he's going to be representing.
Yes.
I would say just come on out to ACW. But I'm also going to say, Steve, you and I have been doing this podcast for a minute.
Yeah.
I'll say several years.
Since 2014.
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
But I feel like, just like I said before, that we're now hitting our prime, right? And that is due largely in part to where we're at right now, which is Beacon Podcasting. For any of you who are looking to do exactly what we're doing, it doesn't have to be about wrestling. It can be about spaghetti.
I wish I were a prosciutto. Also, Beacon Podcasting.
Okay.
Shout out to them. Their podcast, a great show. No, anything, man. You could be another wrestling podcast. You could be another UFO podcast.
Sure.
You could be another whatever, right?
And, it is first class all the way through here. These bottles of water
saved my life tonight.
They don't just appear here. They've been so helpful for us and taking us to the next level, and we're forever thankful for Sal and all the crew at Beacon Podcasting.
Yeah, beaconpodcasting.com. Shout out to Sal and Neil back there and those other guys back there. Everybody's out here tonight. Guys, once again, if you want to come out, try it out, do what we're doing because we're not doing it alone. Come on out October 18th, ACW. This is ACW.com. We'll be at Mischief Night. We're going to have some fun. It's the last show of the year. We're dressing up. It's Halloween. We're going to have a Halloween show next week, maybe. We're gonna get it ready for Halloween, man.
All right.
So get your costume ready for next week, too, because we're doing it up. But no, guys, thanks for joining us. Like us, follow us, subscribe to us.
Absolutely.
Buy a T-shirt, help support the show. You can become a sponsor of the show, and we'll give you like a shout out and all that fun stuff. Check it out, guys. BeaconPodcasting.com. We'll see you next week and beyond, I guess, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
See you then. We'll see you soon. Now what do we talk about? We're done.
Well, Peacemaker season 3, I guess. I don't know.